Hello and good morning. This morning I'd like to talk to you guys a little bit about Counter-Strike. I know I try to make this not a Counter-Strike YouTube channel, but I think I just can't help it. It's not that this isn't a Counter-Strike YouTube channel, it's just that I love Counter-Strike so much. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be talking a lot about Counter-Strike, because that's what I like to do. Most importantly, I don't know if you guys know this, but I've been playing Counter-Strike before Global Offensive came out. I'm an old man, and I should be very stuck in my ways, but I'm not. I'm kind of stuck in my ways in a way that is a bit odd, but I'm addicted to the Source engine, but that's about it. So I'm going to be talking about today what happens, when Counter-Strike updates its game. Mostly about CS2 versus CSGO, right? Because obviously they killed CSGO, and we can no longer play it in the way that we used to be able to play it. And now we're forced to play, if we want to play competitive matchmaking against a bunch of random noobs, we're forced to play that on its new platform, CS2. Which everybody that I know, personally, in a B-hop sort of sense, really hates. And I'd like to remind people, when they say stuff like, CSGO is at its perfect state, I'm just quoting myself, for example, CSGO was at its perfect state, and then they killed it right at the end of its, right when it became perfect, they killed it, right? CSGO is a beautiful, fucking put together game that took years to get to that level, and I don't want to wait another 10 years for Counter-Strike to get to that level. But the point is, right, it's not like you can't have fun during the stage of Counter-Strike not being CSGO, because CS Source, people would argue, right? People would argue that CS Source, literally, which is why I'm on this YouTube channel, CS Source was the perfect game, and they'd release videos called CSGO fuck yourself, because they don't like this new fucking game, and then they go back and they play Source over here, right? And they say Source, of course, right? The most incredible, and they just keep playing Source, and then eventually Loyu is Toxic, Loyu and Buds, 4K Knife Geek Out, Land 2014 SoCal, we still got a little Source, Ridiculous, Dinosaur, Stream Funnies, Old Loyu CSS Frag Show, Loyu Day of Fun, Loyu Bunny Hopping YouTuber, OMG I'm Crazy, I'm Cheating, God Kill Me. And then eventually it all just becomes CSGO. Over the time period, it slowly itches in. No matter how much you fight and squirm, the game is Counter-Strike. Not CS2, not CS 1.6, not CSGO. Counter-Strike is a great experience. Even the pros, right? The pro scene, and one Source came out, and Source was considered by a lot of people the best Counter-Strike, because oh my god, the way I can move, the way my gun works, I don't have to do all this bullshit that I have to do in 1.6. All spraying feels perfect. Even though the spray pattern for fucking whack compared to Global Offensive, but spraying feels perfect. The way the ragdolls fall over when I headshot them, the deagle's fucking fantastic. The op feels like I'm a god in Source, right? Source was my first game. But the pros were like, but we don't even want to fucking play that game. Until Valve forced them to play Global Offensive and said, hey, I'm going to make a tournament every year that you guys have to come take a part in if you want to make a lot of fucking money and get a name for yourself. So what we're going to do is we're going to make all you guys have to adapt to our new shitty game that nobody wants to play. Because look at this shit. Compared to CS2, look at this shit. I don't know if you've looked at this shit. Just look at this. Look at that. Look at him sliding. You seeing that? And then the game is broken. And was completely broken. And it wasn't even broken like this. And you guys are like, oh, but it's been a year and CS2 is still broken as shit. CSGO wasn't even in its state of when CSGO deleted itself until late 2016. And I would argue that even in late 2016, it took until literally 2023 when it died to get actually good. Like, it was kind of at the closest state you could get, and the game came out in 2012. So it was 4 years between when the game came out and when I would consider it closer. It was in 2016, it was closer to the end product we got than the product we had in 2012. I don't even know if that's true or not. All right? So if you look at it, if you look at the life of Counter-Strike, it was a 10-year process. And it took 4 years to even get to remotely kind of how the game was at the end. Because if you look, you literally had people angry about updates that happened to CSGO. Which later I would say that I really appreciated the latter not being stupid update. And I really appreciated all this, everything that they happened here, personally. Everything that happened here made the game a better game and made it more solid, and it felt grounded. And it felt when I killed people, I would murder folks way better. And then people even figured out a way around this. People got better at the game and figured out a better way to do the little ladder strafe thing, where you do the B-hop off, and then you kill it, and that even looks cooler than the OG low-U ladder strafe. See, the game is slowly building. And it's just going to slowly build, and they may kill it again. You may get really good at CS2, and at the peak of your skill, where you know every little malfunction, the way to press your keyboard perfectly, and then you're going to get a job, right? And then get this, right? You're going to get a job, and then you're going to work for 6 months and completely stop playing video games because you just don't feel like it anymore, because you're working and you're like, I don't really fucking feel like playing video games. And then you're going to come back to your favorite game, and it's all going to be gone anyway. So it's not going to matter. It's not going to matter whether they reset the game or whether you get a job or find a different hobby, but you're going to come back to Counter-Strike. If you love it as much as I do, you're always going to come back to Counter-Strike and you're going to play it. You may not be the best at it. You're not going to be the guy that you always were during your heyday, right? But it doesn't matter, because Counter-Strike is not about that. It's about getting in there, shooting a guy in the fucking face. That's what Counter-Strike's about. Just taking out your fucking daily fucking troubles on a little kid over across on this terrorist team, and I'm running in there with my deagle and I'm popping him in the brain. That's what Counter-Strike's always been about. And the fact that I can still do that in CS2, and I can pop this kid in the brain with any sort of weapon of my choice, I'm still playing the same game. I can hit play, which CSS didn't have, and 1.6 didn't have. You had to go find servers or communities that you could be a part of, and you had to join them up, and you're playing the same people every day, and you get to know these people, right? But no, I want to play a random. This is modern gaming has allowed me, even though I've got a lot of other shit to say about modern gaming, what modern gaming has allowed me to do is click play on a video game, get into a game with a random stranger that I have no clue about, and pop them in the head. That is beautiful. Other games, like the older games like Quake and stuff, they don't have that luxury. They have 7 people in their servers, and they need to kill the same 7 people every day until one random little kid joins them, and they dominate that little kid, and the little kid never plays the game again. What's the point in that? When Counter-Strike has millions of people playing all the time, and I can click play, find one of those millions of kids, pop them in the head, and that kid's gonna want more, because Counter-Strike is that fucking addicting. Anyway, I'm off to work. See you guys later. It was fun.